donations. When they see that she's still getting donations, she's gonna go down big time.
So I have a theory, and this is just a theory, and it matches a lot. You remember how, quote unquote, Kyle would always follow her around and shit, and she would always go on magical walks and then randomly have money?
Yeah,
I think she was hooking.
that's what I was thinking the same thing because
I think she was like gets the strip jobs, because I'm gonna say this: I've dated strippers. There's this certain thing called the champagne room. It's where you go back for quote unquote private. It is $200. And this is varies from state to state. It's like $200 in the state I'm in. I've never paid that because I don't. Why pay for blue ball?
and then they hear that, they smell that stench, and they're like, no, thank you. Ugh, no.
I think that is how she was getting her clients for hooking.
But who would pay for that if she stinks? I'd want my money back.
Morgan and Morgan, same reason as why would anyone want to sleep with Kyle?
Yeah, I guess people are desperate. Ugh.
There's some desperate people out there that if you let them enter, they will be grateful for you letting them enter.
I mean, the men that go into these places are desperate anyways.
Yeah.
Yes and no. I mean, I've gone to strip clubs, but
Hey, Nana Tracy.
it was mainly for people's birthdays. Like, they've never gone. So I'm like, you know
Right.
what? It's your 21st birthday. I'm going to take your first strip club.
Right. But for something nasty like that. I mean, here in Florida, I have to say we do have some nasty women, but
I mean, there's nasty women everywhere. But, like, my whole definition about strip
she does
club,
have HPV, Christina. She said she had HPV.
from a toilet
See,
seat.
okay, but let me explain something to you about HPV. I have HPV. I was born with HPV. It was passed on through my mother.
Skin to skin.
But my mother passed it on to me when I was born. So ever since birth, I've had HPV.
Yeah.
So in my defense, not hers, because she sleeps around. I've slept with one person my whole life, and that was my ex-husband. But when I got my first pap smear, or whatever, before I even became pregnant, they told me I had HPV. And she asked me, and I was still a virgin when I had my first pap smear.
Well,
But I was having menstrual problems, so I went and I tested positive for HPV, and I'm like, well, how? I'm a virgin. And she said, your mother passed it on to you during birth.
It's like herpes or anything. Like, you can be born with that.
Exactly.
It is a thing. But when you randomly get it and you...
from her mom, man.
No, because she just got HPV.
Yeah, she just got HPV, so I was born with it. And I told my ex-husband when, I said, look, I have HPV. I was born with HPV. So in my case, it wasn't because I was sleeping around. I was born with it. My mom, back then, they didn't have what they have now for the HPV, like the injections. You know what I'm saying?
I think it's Hep C. Apparently, Hep C is now curable.
It is. And, like, sometimes I'll go for my pap smear and my HPV doesn't even show up. So, like the doctor told me, he says, since you were born with it, he says it could be, it shows up and it doesn't show up. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But I told my ex-husband, I said I was born with HPV. And I will tell any man that I'm with, I was born with HPV. I was a virgin until I got married. I've been with one man in my whole life. Never cheated, never did anything. So
you try to hide it and then just sleep with that person and be like, oh, well, now you have AIDS. No.
yeah, well, my ex-husband never got it. So
Yeah.
From what they told me, my mom was. I did research on it too when I started nursing school. From what they told me was my mom carried the gene. Well, they said my mom carried the gene. Doesn't mean my mom had it, but she had the gene for the HPV.
But yeah,
And it got passed on to me.
Well, you didn't get it from a toilet seat.
You don't get it from a toilet seat. She's full of shit.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's why I call her patient zero, because she is the first one in humanity to get it by a toilet seat.
And if you read up on it, they consider it a sexually transmitted disease, but
Exactly.
they don't really classify it like that because I was born with it. It caused me a lot of problems because it does cause cervical cancer. I've had so many endoscopies. I just had a endoscopy. I've had so many tests ran on me for cervical cancer because I was born with the HPV. Now,
I got a question. This is a
What?
serious. What age? And I know it varies. What age are you technically supposed to get a colonoscopy?
It depends. With me, they started in my 40s because my mom had colon cancer twice.
Okay.
I did my first one in my 40s. They found polyps. I went back. But they say after 50, you go after 50 if you're healthy. I just went and had mine and they burnt 10 polyps off of my colon, but they sent 3 out for a biopsy. So I'll probably have to go every year, every 2 years now.
A prostate exam because I'm gonna be honest, and this is just psychological shit. I will die before I let somebody shove a finger in my butthole.
It's not as bad. It's not as bad as you think.
I know,
yeah, Nana Tracy.
It's just it's a mind frame. Once you've been to like prison or jail or any of that shit, and just the thought of another person shoving their finger in your butthole.
I had my colonoscopy. I had a colonoscopy done on Wednesday, and I was sore. I know, and I was sore on Thursday because they burnt so much of that shit off of that fucking gas. I couldn't get rid of the air and the gas they put in there.
Nana Tracy, they're gonna have to heavily sedate my ass if they're going in.
Well, they had to give me Versed, which is really weird because I know colonoscopy. Me being a nurse, I know that it's not this big procedure thing, but I was scared only for the fact is my chat was hearing my stomach growl constantly. I mean, I could eat, my stomach would growl. I mean, it would make these gurgling noises, and my chat would say, "Karen, your stomach." I'm like, no, nothing's wrong with my stomach. And then I heard it, and I'm like, what the hell's going on with my stomach? So I finally scheduled my colonoscopy, and I went to the doctor and I told him what was going on. He's like, well, let's do a colonoscopy to see. But I also started a probiotic vitamin plus regular vitamins. Yeah. So, but I have IBS too. I got diagnosed with IBS. So, and with IBS, you either have diarrhea or you're constipated. There's no in between with IBS. But since they did burn the polyps off, this is a guess, but I'll probably have to go the cleansing. Oh, Nana Tracy, that was so, I don't ever want to see Jell-O or fucking chicken broth again.
Yeah, no,
ever.
I know it's probably not a bad, but it's just, it's hard for me to explain. It's not a macho man type thing. Like no one's gonna put something in my ass, but it is that.
That was bad.
I refuse to have something in my ass.
You could do the Cologuard test first.
Whether it be a camera they're shoving up my butt or a finger.
You would never know. Yeah, well, the Cologuard, I couldn't do Cologuard because of with my mom having a colon cancer.
But if he doesn't have a cancer history, he could do Cologuard. And
yeah, you just shit and you put it out. You get a stick and you dip it and you put it on there and you send it out.
Somebody my poo poo.
Yeah,
they can have that. I mean, I have no use for it. They can have it.
But the hardest part was, oh, Nana, good for you. The hardest part for me was the prep. I hated you had to take 2 Dulcolax starting at noon, and then you had to drink 2 of those nitrous, those bottles that you get at Walmart, of those nitrous bullshit things.
That reminds me of when my baby mama had to do it's called the glucose test or whatever, where you have to drink a bottle of sugar water.
Oh, that shit's disgusting when you're pregnant.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I've ate and drank some questionable shit. Like I ate a 7-day-old chicken sandwich on the side of my bed from McDonald's because I was stoned and it was there.
That's
what
nasty
kind of shit
as
you got?
fuck.
Hey, I was stoned. I was hungry. It was there. Then it wasn't.
You
Oh
had
my
some really
God.
good shit, huh?
I'm disgusting.
And shit. There was a oh my God. So there was this one
Janine, they
time.
did it all.
I think I was like 13 or 14. And I was stoned out of my mind. Like I was on fucking cloud nine.
For real, Nana.
But I'm sitting there looking, and I was thirsty. I had
Send it
cotton
to-
mouth, so I just grabbed the nearest bottle towards me and just took a fat swig and instantly spit it out. And I come to find out it was dip spit.
Oh,
Oh!
Yeah, ew, yeah, it was gross.
Oh my God. Ugh.
I've drank that. Ugh.
On the bright side, it was peach flavored.
No! Stop! Oh my God! I won't eat or drink after anybody.
Well, like I said, I was stoned. I didn't know what was going on. I just grabbed the nearest can that I thought was mine and instantly took a swig.
Oh my God! That my son dips, and he has it in his car, and he dips and he empties a water bottle. And he'll do it in there, and I see it in his car, and I'm like, that is so gross.
Now-
But I can't really say anything because I don't even smoke. I don't do any illegal anything.
I
This
dipped in middle
Prudy
school,
girl.
and high school. I dipped in middle school and high school, well, because you could get away with it. I mean, you just pack yourself a little gummer there, and then you just sit there and you hold the spit in your mouth until you have to go to the bathroom.
But I've drinking like I used to put cigarettes out in bottled water, and I drank some of that one time, and I'm surprised I still smoke because oh my God, I took a swig of that, and I'm like oh my God, but the dip one, it was the best when they tased them on live. That was hilarious. Morgan, you missed that one.
Who?
It happened again.
Eddie.
I get tased all the time, especially when people like.
Hold on,
So
I
have
gotta
this
follow
thing-
this.
if you follow my wife, she has the videos on her story.
I follow her. Yeah, I follow.